Good evening. Anna, hello.
Anna.
Anna, hi. My screen is pen on it.
Oh,
All right. Miss, good evening. Miss, I think that most of the students are referring not through these video sessions. I think that's why only few people are attending. And before going for the today lectures, I had to tell something that so after the last lectures, I got some feedback from the students. If you can just please complete the one session and move to the another session. That means it is difficult to doing the both part MS project with Primavera parallelly. So I plan to complete this MS project today, and the next session in half within 3 hours we can complete this MS project and this Primavera. And before that, I had to tell another things. Until this moment, I think more than 30 to 30 students referred the video and got these lecture notes, but I received only 6 to 7 submissions regarding the MS project and Primavera. The purpose that I gave that task to identify the students, the difference between the work breakdown structures and the activities, and also the difficulties between this MS project and Primavera. So because earlier I told you that this is not a course just to teach you what is the softwares and how to using the softwares. My main intention is to teach you how to handle this software with as a professional. So that means for that we have to think that as a professional, how to planning, what are the difficulties where our planning, those kind of things we need to identify. So I think I'll expect that others also will complete the task and submit, because today after this session, or otherwise that with the next sessions, I will give you a complete drawing, complete two-story drawing, and also a 3D model I'm having for that. So you are going to do that complete program. So when we are preparing the program, we have to consider that that program should tally with the BOQ. So for that, you have to take identify the elements and take a quantities and get the BOQ. From the based on the BOQ can go for the program. So today I'll tell you what are the observations that I observed that last submissions of the students. So directly we can go move to this MS project sessions. So today's session is one of the most important sessions in this MS project sessions, resource allocation, because as a quantity says, I think most of the people are quantity surveyors in these classes. So with the resource allocations means allocating the resource, preparing the BOQ, and everything's are including in this part. So why I'm telling this, because through the MS project or Primavera, we can easily prepare this BOQ rather than this Excel. But for that, we need good idea about our quantities, but because using our softwares or any manual method, we need to get the quantities in a correct manner as for the standard method of measurements. So once we get the measurements, then we can apply those measurements to this software. Then we can get this when we can get the correct program and the quantities, because otherwise we can't get the final output cost, because our intention is to identify the cost of that project. So when we are doing this in this MS project, Uh, for the allocating the resources, there are in industry we are using these four methods. One is that assigning and uploading all resources, schedules, and constraint activities. Second one is this assigning and updating quantities and rates, schedules, activities. Third one, duration based. And fourth one, combination of above. So I told you that is the most recommended, but in the industry most using this fourth method. So why I'm telling this, these are the four methods for the initial basic learning. Most of the in the universities and these courses we are teaching the first, that means assigning, updating all resources and schedules in a program. But today we will do that. So during that time you will realize that how difficult it will when we do this for the large program. So what is the reason that we don't recommend to use that method? That's a common method, but we are not to recommend, and also in the industry also we are not using that method for that. And also second one, updating quantities, rate, scheduling, and activities. The second methods are most of the places we are using. So I think I'll be like, so this is the first method. That means under this first method, for example, if there is a job, if there is a concrete, so we know that what is the material for that. That means how many cement. So I'm telling not a ready mix, so handmade. So how many cement bags need, what are the requirement of the sand, what are the requirement of metal, the mixture, hand mixture or the mixture hiring, and that labor charge. So each and every resources we have to allocate to the concrete, the work of the concrete. The work of the concrete means the concrete works will replace in the number of places. That means ground floor, then when we use the first floor, the second floor, third floor, and each and every floors there is a concrete work. So we have to go to the each and every floor and have to go and assign the resources. And also in the monitoring stage also is a difficult. That means number of items we have to include in a particular event. So if you think the concrete is not a big matter. If you go to the electrical or plumbing, and if you take the formwork you have to mention every items. That means plywood, that jacks, acro jacks, 2x2, 4x2, then nails, and everything. So if you take this electrical items, we have to get the wiring, what are the other accessories need for the wirings. So it will give big resources and big program for that. So that's why we are not recommending this first method in our professional during the office. So in the professional activity we are not recommend the first method. So then the second method is, so second method commonly we are using that. So this method is very based on the BOQ. That's why I'm telling that we have to prepare the BOQ. Based on the BOQ, based on our quantity, we are updating. So this is one of a recommended method we are using in the industry. So I will teach you, I will show this. So if you in the theoretical, sometimes you may understand, but in the first and second and the third, we will not discussing. The first and second, today I'll show you an example. From that you can understand what is the difference between the method first and second. So this is the third method. Third method is completed regarding the duration base. So duration base is not required for the industry, which between the profits, especially the private sector. We are not using this duration based. So we always try to go for the first one or second one, because this duration base is good for the government type projects, because they are just only to check the progress and everything. They are not concerned about much about the profit as well as the profit and the material. So this is not good for the private sectors. And the fourth one is, it is a combination of all above. So this is as per our knowledge and our experience, we can use this from. That means we are using this all three above methods in a one scale. So I think it is better to go with the program. So this is the one of program. So can you see this? I think I gave you to prepare this program, and some students completed and send me that. So in that program, you could find that we gave the list of activities, but these activities without any quantities, so anything, just only the activities. So these are the difficulties that you will face, because if you go, can you see this Excel document? This is the Excel file I gave you to complete this task. So according to this file, so I didn't include this. For example, in my program, I gave you only this foundation, including basement and slab. I didn't give you this concrete, formwork, or reinforcement. So, but most of the people complete the program and send me, but didn't mention about this, because in a sequence of work breakdown structures, we can send that completion of ground floor, completion of first floor, completion of roof floor. When it comes to the program, so if you have to complete the completion of first floor, that first floor should include set of work activities. This is, I just only put 3 activities. I expected from the students, you have to give some detailed breakdown for this. For example, if completion of the first floor, completion of the including concrete works, formwork, and reinforcement. Without these main activities, we can complete the structural work. For the structural works, completion of the first floor structural work, we can do without this concrete work, formwork, and reinforcement. But most of the people didn't just copy to my chart and with the link and prepared that. So I expected that you should include this concrete formwork and reinforcement, and if you can, some other items, because if there is a column height is more than 3 or 4 meters, we can't go put the concrete at once, so we have to do the break in stage wise. Or also there in the formwork and the reinforcement, there are a number of sub jobs. So from the hicker to the setting out, there are a number of jobs to leveling and concreting. So those process I expected that you may include that. Meaning this also we can break down it in the initial stage for the column formwork, column reinforcement, column concrete, then staircase. Then only we have to move to the 4th events, then how to do the slab formwork, slab reinforcement, and slab concrete. That's in that manner we are going to prepare a program. Otherwise, we don't know when we are going to start the concrete. If you're telling that in a 2000 meter square ground floor slab, so we can't just tell that that second floor will complete in 35 or 40 days. So if we have to complete that in 35 or 40 days, we should have a clear breakdown for that. That means clear breakdown means how many days for the formwork, how many days for the concreting, those kind of things we need. So that's why I'm telling that you have to get that. That's the reason that I told you after the WBS work breakdown structure class, just think and prepare and some breakdown. When you're doing this more breakdown only, your program will come more effective program. Otherwise, there is no use with just writing one program. That's why even everyone can't do that kind of programs. So if you can, please just develop your program. For an example, so I have highlighted these 3 things: the concrete, formwork, reinforcements. So those things you can find in the task sheet, but I gave that. So, and if you can develop bit more. So for an example, if you take that, I'm told always before we go for the program, so we need to complete our BOQ. That means BOQ means we should complete our taking off. If you see this, the predecessors and successors, I think the predecessors and successors we have discussed last class deeply. We have discussed, and I told the requirement: without the predecessor and successor, we can't complete at the linkage between the starting event and the ending event. So from the start to start, I gave the slideshow. Just go through and get a clear idea, because predecessors and successors is another important activity to complete a correct program. So today we don't need this to discuss about this. So today our main task is how to so now if you prepare a program, structural work, this is the same program. So mobilization. So each and every that I'll come to this concrete works. So concrete works were based on my BOQ. My quantity is 140 meter cube. So now what we have to do that as a quantity service, we know that how to taking off the material taking off. So if you are going to do a resource allocation, so for a concrete, you can say if it's not a ready mix concrete, I know that I need cement, sand, metal, and so this only for the concrete works, and also support of the skilled laborers, unskilled laborers, and also more than this, I think so there are some other resources also required. So we had to find that first based on the BSR or in a manual manner. So always don't use the BSR, because BSR is not for the professionals. So you know that the way how to identify the quantities, the material taking off for the items. Without the BSR also you can use for the concrete. If you tell grade 30 concrete, we know that ratio is 1:1:2. Then if your ratio is 1:1:2, then 1/4 for cement, 1/4 is another for sand, and 2/4 is for metal, and then we can easily calculate. And also if you have the bulking factor or shrinkage in the cement areas for the shrinkage, we can add, and we can easily take the quantities. So for this example, this concrete, for the concrete, the cement, we have to identify how many cement bags needed. So in here we gave that 11 cement bag for 1 meter square. So what will happen for 154 meter cube? So that is here. So you can check this one. That means 11 with this. So I just put with my just number. So you can check, and you can correct the correct figure. That means what is the number of cement required for 1 meter cube. Then also for the sand. So in here 0.5 meter cube for one to complete a 1 meter cube's concrete mixture. So then what is the requirement for 154? Likewise, we have to first complete always. Yeah, once you prepare a BOQ and once you find out the list out of the works, then directly go to the prepare that cost and resource allocation through the Excel. It is easy. Directly go and type and doing that in this MS project. Why I'm telling, I told that otherwise you had to go in each and every activity and add the resources and assign resources. Is a big lot. So if there's a sequence more than 1,000 or 1,500 sequence, so we can go and one by one and can't assign the resources. In those kind of things, it is easy in this Excel. We can just prepare in one and tracking to the all events, and we can just copy and paste. So in here, first 154 meter cube. For that 150 meter cube, cement bag is 1,664, and sand 77, and metal 154. This is in meter cube. And also in here, I have allocated labors 5, 4, and until 7. So likewise, we have to complete this chart for our program. For then we have to go to the form work. In the form work, we have to identify what are the items need for. That means for the form work, I think we need items plywood, 18 for plywood, and then we need this 4x4, 2x4 timbers, and 2x2 timbers, and fill labors. So these are the requirement for the formwork arrangement. Same as I had did for this reinforcement also. So now what we have to do that. So first we have to complete this and we have to identify this all of the items, what are the items and what is the requirement. If you have to give a detailed BOQ and if you have to do the detail rate through this is the first method. I told that in resource allocation, there are 4 methods. So this is the first method. I told you this is not the most recommended method, but to give you the idea, the difficulties and why we are not using this program, I'm telling these things. So we have to identify this. These are IS commonly identified only for this common. Say just think these kind of things for the balance activities. So it's MS project. Can you see this Excel sheet? I think now you can see.
Yes, sir. Now okay.
Right. I'm sorry. I thought that you are seeing this Excel sheet. So this is I'm again telling that in this I have highlighted this concrete formwork reinforcement. These three I didn't include in your previous program. That means I gave you a program list of tasks. So I didn't include these activities. So I expected that you will include this and prepare a program. So the reason for that, we can't do a program for a completion for a floors without these kind of activities. For example, completion of a first floor. So the structural works under the structural, if I have to complete the first floors, definitely I need these main activities of the formwork, reinforcement and concrete. This is the high cost going for these kind of activities. So in that activities can some other sub activities. That is the requirement of the proper work breakdown structure. So when you are preparing you are preparing the program, just consider about these things and include some more details. So that means if you are preparing the BOQ based on our SLS 573 or SMM7 or NRM2, in that we are using these all activities without never be preparing a BOQ just a first floor. We are always under the first floor. We always including these all activities. That means from the concrete, formwork, reinforcement, every activities are we including in the BOQ. So always it is good. It is easy for us when we are preparing the BOQ and the program tallying. That means both sequence are same. Otherwise, it is difficult for us to doing these kind of cost allocations and financial progress. Everything's because if there is a program activities which is not mentioned under the BOQ, how we can allocate cost for that activity. So always, what are the activities including in the BOQ? We should consider whether those activities are in the program. Some activities in the previous activities we can include in this program, but there is a method we can assign those resources and balance the cost. So whatever the things, main activities, measured works, always we should include this under the MS project, same as the BOQ. So if we now BOQ, definitely we put for it. I'm taking this example: concrete and formwork and reinforcement. Definitely, there's a quantities, and we have to find out the material with the support of BSR or our own knowledge. We can get that cement, sand, metal, rubbles based on the scope. If I go for reinforcement, there is a toe steel, my steel, and labor force. So in this manner, we have to complete the program first. That means the Excel chart. Then in downside, if I go same as for the masonry walls. In the masonry walls also, I just mentioned that completion of ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor. But definitely we know that that is not possible in a BOQ. We never prepare estimate or BOQ, or we are never taking off without the sizes of the block. We are always using in the standard method, using the internal block. Under the internal block, what are the 100mm block, 200mm block. Likewise, we are taking the measurement. Without that, we never take a measurement in the detail BOQ. Completion of ground floor for the block work, 2000 meters squared, we never mention. We always for the completion of first floor, we have to mention what is the area of the 100-meter blocks, 200-meter blocks. Same as this also, you can develop that. If you like to internal block, then under the internal wall, internal wall another 100, 200, and external wall another 100 and 200. Those things are you can add another sub activities in this MS project. Almost same in this Primavera also. Primavera also you can add as this sub work breakdown structures, and we can put the final activities for the 100 millimeter and 200 millimeter. So it will give a detailed program, and it is very easy to the people to progress monitor the program. So program is not only to just prepare and keep some places and just to flash to show that we have time to time we have modified, time to time we have tracked, and time to time we have update that. So for that we need a clear program with all our working activities. So keep that on mind when you're preparing a program. Just only the putting the common activities. Always refer to the BOQ. Based on the BOQ, just prepare the program. So I think now you all got a point. What is the initial step we have to do that to go to prepare a resource allocation in the method 1. So according to the method 1, now we have identified the quantities and we identified the material requirement for that quantities. So now we will move to this MS project. So this is this MS project chart. So now I told that this I have highlighted that like this. So this is one of the student submission. From that I just take that. So he didn't mention these 3 items. Also here also he didn't mention anything. Whatever I gave, same as like this. So here reinforcement, formwork, concrete. I include these 3 items. So now what I am going to do, I'm going to allocate the resources for these items based on the Excel chart what I prepared there. So the Excel chart what I showed you. So if I need, I will share you that. So for that, we have to move and we have to assign our resources first. That means for that, we have to go to our resource sheet. Info under the, if we had in this Gantt chart, you can see a building. There's a column resource sheet. So in that resource sheet, you have to go and insert your all kind of resources. That means, for an example, in now that Excel sheet, I show that our resources have cement, sand, metal, tow steel, mild steel, plywood, 2x2, 4x2, skilled labor, unskilled labor, likewise. So for an example, the way so I'm including another item for cement, sand, okay, ready mix concrete, ready mix. So I put ready mix, automatically it will show that. Then I have to go to the type. Under the type, there's a 3 type: work, material, cost. So this is a ready mix, is a material. So I give material. When I give this material, so here material initial, so these things we don't need. And they will give the standard rate. What is the rate? So if you go, sometimes if you go your program, sometimes it will show in the dollar. So keep that in mind. We have to change that in the option. There's an item called display. Under the display, we can change that to the LKR, Lankan rupees. Otherwise, it will show in the default method in dollars. So in the ready mix, so recent days now is going, I think, more than 35,000. So we can allocate rate 35,000. Same as we have to give the all kind of resource. I told that. So if you are doing a complete project, we have to mention all items. That block 100 millimeter block and also 200 millimeter blocks in this electrical plumbing item, 100 millimeter pipe, 63 millimeter pipe, 110 millimeter pipes, and 20 millimeter, 40 millimeter, and all kind of taps, sanitary fittings. And I think it will come this, if you take a, finally your item list will come, resource, sorry, that means this resource sheet will consist with more than thousands or 2,000 items. So that much work we have to do if you follow that first method. So once we fill this, if you are doing that method, we had to fill all kind of resources means man, material, and plant and equipment. So in skilled labor, unskilled labor, so carpenter, mason, security, every activities, and these materials also we had to include that tower crane and our other machineries, plants, everything we had to include under this resource. So then we have to again move to this Gantt chart. So once we completed, so we can go to this and we can easily allocate our resources. Just right click, and here there is an item called assign resources. If you click this assign resources, it will show all of the items what we typed under that resource sheet. Here, these all items what I have typed under that resource sheet. So once I complete that, so I can find, so if I tell that metal, also for example, I'm telling that for my work, it is metal is required. So in my BOQ, I know what is the quantity for the reinforcement reinforcement quantity for the foundation. So then I can, if I tell that for as per my BOQ, if the toe steel is 150 million ton, then I put this 154. So already I have gave the rate for the toe steel in my resource sheet. So auto will, it will calculate and give the cost for that. So if I put, so if I go and give cost, so they automatically calculate, because I am, and at this moment I have assigned resources only for this work. So what they did, already calculated the assigned the two resources. That means for this work they assign the mild steel and store steel, and assign those resources. So I think can you just assign these resources for the form work? So I'll give you this Excel file. I'll share the Excel file in the group. Is it difficult to share that? Okay. So can you go? You receive that point? That means how to allocate a resource for a particular item. That means for if there's a reinforcement. So first we have to go to this resource sheet, and we have to include this all kind of resources. Then we have to come to this Gantt chart and go to our activities and right click and assign resources. From that resources, we have to go and click whatever the item and give the unit mentioned in this BOQ, and we have to just assign automatically, the rate will come. So if you can just do that for the form work. I am sharing the form works screen. So I think now this Excel screen is, you can see the Excel screen. So according to my Excel sheet, for the form work, the quantity I have allocated 1179 meters squared. So what you have to do that, the plywood, so we have to go to your MS project, into the resources sheet, add the resources, plywood, timber, and 2x2 timber and 2x4 timber, skilled and unskilled labors. Then for the labors, skilled labors and unskilled labors, allocate that for these two, the material type, give that material, and for this, give that as work. When you're giving this resource sheet that as work, definitely you will get there's a will active the rate, maximum rate. Under the rate, just include how many labors you have. For example, at this moment we can give 50. Then for the rate we can give 3000 or 2000, and we can give that resource. Is it okay? Can you, so do I have to do this again, this MS project, so to the resource allocation? Okay, again I'll do once and just check the video and do that. For the form work I'm doing that. So here my Islam activity adana then make close karana, then me then make completion of ground floor kila tin activity walata then making kisima activity include karana api program hadana කොට ඒත් අපි BOQ බලනකොට identify කරනවා මේ BOQ විදියට මට first floor, under the first floor there's a 3 activities. That means make concrete is initially for the column reinforcement, then column formwork, then concreting, column concrete, column concrete, column concreting. Third one, the slab and beam, formwork. Because I don't give the time to you because most of the students are following this video. Just I am doing that. Just just watch the recording and complete the task. And slab beam and formwork, then slab and beam reinforcement, then leveling and concreting. Under this we can include, if you have this other little bit, I have include program. So I'm 6 days for homework and 6 days and 6 days, and also 7 days leveling 1 day, concreting 2 days. Okay, column concreting also 2 days. So if you add අපි දැන් මේම activities 6ක් අලුතෙන් insert කරලා තියෙනවා. sorry මේ 6ම මෙතන ඉඳලා insert කරා. මේක BOQ එකේ තියෙනවා. අපි program එක තිබ්බ නැහැ කියලා අපි මේ activities 6ක් add කරලා තිනවා අලුතෙන්. මේ activities add කරපු ගමන් මෙයා එන්න ඕනේ completion of first floor එකෙන් තමයි මෙයාගේ WBS. එයාගෙන් sub activities තමයි මේ activities. එහෙම වෙනකොට අපි මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ? just click this completion of first floor 14 and go to this button and give this out and arrow. Then automatically it will give, that means completion of, under the completion of first floor they calculated these activities and they are giving these days 28. So now I have to go to check these predecessors, because main thing is predecessors. So under this predecessors we have only mentioned 13. We have to once you complete this flow we have to start. So now predecessors no need to there. So we have to start for the column reinforcement should start. Again me first floor එකට column reinforcement එක පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ ground floor එක slab එක මේ completion of ground floor කියලා කියන මේක ඇතුළත ඔයාලා ඉතුරු event ටික හදා ගන්න ඕනේ. මෙතන the completion of ground floor ඇතුළත එනවා එයාගේ reinforcement work, form work, slab beam ටික ඔක්කොම activities ඔක්කොම මේ වගේම set එකක් එනවා. ඒක අන්තිම concrete ඉවර වෙච්ච දිනයක් කියලා තමයි මේක හිතන්නේ. 22/7/2022 කියලා කියන්නේ first floor ground floor එකේ concrete ඉවර වෙච්ච දිනයක්. දැන් concrete ඉවර වෙච්චුණා නම් ඊළඟ දවසේ curing කරලා අපිට දවසෙන් එඩි වැඩ start කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ sorry මෙයා ඉවර වෙලා දවසින් පස්සේ අපි column reinforcement එක start කරනවා. දැන් column reinforcement start කරලා මේ මට පුළුවන් එනම් event 15 තමයි column reinforcement start කරලා දවස් 3න් form work එක start කරන්න කියලා. අනිවාර්යෙන් column concreting දාන්න ඕන නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් column ටික ඔක්කොම කම්බි form work ඔක්කොම දාලා ඉවර වෙලා තියන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මේ වැඩ column concrete එකම දැම්මාට පස්සේ විතරයි අපේ slab මේ beam වලට form work වැඩ ගොඩක් කලකට හරියට start කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ වැඩ start වෙලා මේ දවස් 3න් පස්සේ වගේ මේ reinforcement start කරනවා. මේ ඊට පස්සේ මේ වැඩ ඔක්කොම ඉවර වෙන පස්සේ තමයි slab එක level කරන්න පුළුවන්. level කරලා ඔක්කොම උඩන් පස්සේ තමයි අපිට concrete දාගන්න පුළුවන් මේ floor එකට. දැන් මේ ටික ඔක්කොම auto schedule එකක් කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මේක click කරලා auto schedule කරපුවම මෙයා දැන් ඉවරයි. දැන් මේ activities ඔක්කොම දැන් අපි අලුතෙන් add කරපු activities ටිකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ කලින් අපි දුන්න program එකක නෑ. දැන් මේ activities ඔක්කොම add වෙලා තියෙනවා. දැන් මෙතන බලනකොට කොහේ හරි වැරද්දක් තියෙනවා. roof එක completion of first floor එක. දැන් මේ activities ඔක්කොම මේ activities 6ම අන්න එනවා මේ completion of first floor එකට. ඊට පස්සේ first floor එකට දවස් 24 ඉවර කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේකක් තියෙනවා දැන්. දැන් අපි BOQ එකෙන් බලනවා check කරනවා මේ quantities කොහොමද තියෙන්නේ. මෙතනින් මේව quantities එකයි unit එකටත් column එකක් දාගන්න. unit දාන්න ඕන නම් මෙතන ගිහිල්ලා insert column කියලා ගිහිල්ලා unit කියලා කියන්නේ text එකක්නේ. ඒක නිසා අපි දානවා text කියලා. text කියලා search කරපු ගමන් එනවා text. එකෙන් අපිට දැන් මේ already text 1 2 වලට allocate කරලා තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි text 4 2 හරි දැන් text 4 එකට ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න මෙතෙන් කියලා unit කියලා type කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් unit already 3 එකට දීලා තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ unit කියලා දාලා මම මෙතන මේ column reinforcement කියලා එකත් මම දන්නවා reinforcement of the unit tonnage. It was a then for the formwork, we know that quantity is meter squared. Then concreting, the quantities is meter cube. The formwork again meter squared, and reinforcement tonnage. And this leveling, it is an item, and also concreting another meter cube. So this in this manner we complete this unit. Also, according to just check this BOQ, and the BOQ we can get that figures. For example, for the column reinforcement, we are getting 60 ton, and column formwork area, it is giving this 600 meter squared, and the concrete area nearly 75 meter cube. And for the slab and beam formwork, nearly 1200 meters square, and reinforcement another 80, and leveling is an item, it's called number 1, and also meter cube concreting, there's another 85, so meter cube. So likewise, follow based on the BOQ, we have complete the items. So now we have already the quantity also same like that. For the unit, we use this text column. For the quantities, use these number columns. Insert a number and put here. I put number 1 as quantity. If you have, you can use number 2 and quantity. So then automatically the quantity will come. Now third one is we have to go and assign these resources. So that's why I told that we have to do everything, and we have to change this to Excel. Then we can easily get that item. For an example, for the column reinforcement, so my column reinforcement is 60, and for the 60, I have to know what are the materials I need to do that task. So how many skilled labors, how many unskilled labors, what are the steels, what is the tonnage of the toe steel, what is the tonnage of mild steel. So now I go to this right click and assign resources in here. So for an example, I know that for the this column reinforcement work, so definitely I need this toe steel. So toe steel, so I need my tonnage is 60, so I need a 60 tonnage of toe steel. Automatically they gave that cost. Then I need some mild steel. So mild steel. So these things we have to do this in this Excel. That means we have to take that quantity and based with the BSR or manual support, we have to take the detailed breakdown that I show you a sample Excel sheet. Likewise, you have to complete for the mild steel. I am telling that my steels need for the stirrups and everything certain 10 ton. So these things are in our generally this raw steel, mild steel we can get from our BOQ directly included that. And also labors, for to complete this 60, I am using my skill labors 10 and unskilled labors. So now you can see that for my column reinforcement, it shows there is a cost. For the other works, there is no cost because I assigned the resources for this column reinforcement. Because of that, I can see my resource. So I can also check where we send just resource names. Now you can see that. So we until this moment we have allocated resources for only these two activities. That means for the column reinforcement activities and for the reinforcement toe steels, this kind of thing. So auto they assign these resources and give this cost. So there's another thing when you are assigning this assigning resources, you can see that For the material, it's okay, but for the labors, that means for they are showing the percentage. So you have to get that. For next, if you go for the resource sheet, for the materials, we give type as materials. So labors, we are giving this type as work. In that, they are giving, we are requesting what is the maximum labor available labors. So we are giving this, that's we have to give that, because this is very important. If you give that available resources, that I'm told that I will discuss in the planning stage. So in here, even we give some durations. So calculating its duration is a different task. So those kind of things will depend on these available labor resources also. So if I have the labor resources only 50, so I had to put that. So but I know according to the MS project, you know that the maximum available labors for this company only 50 and 50. So if I have the 50, I can't allocate this all 50 at once for number of jobs. So automatically that MS project identify the resource shortage and give that identification resource or allocation or resource limitation. So based on that, we can increase the durations, or if we are much more labors, we can reduce the duration. Likewise, we can do that for that. So according to that, but in here it mentioned that 5,000, but always in labor source we are giving in a percentage in hundreds. So that means if I am having 50 labors, I have to mention here 5,000, 50 into 100. And if I have the unskilled labors 50, I have to mention here 50,000, 5,000. So if you tell that I am having a labors 25, just type 25, 2,500. That means always multiply that amount with 100. That's the reason that in this Gantt chart also, when we go for this column reinforcement, assigning resources, it shows that for the labors 1,000 and here 500 means here 5. Here mentioning is 1,000. Thousands means 10. 10 into 100,000. 5 into 100, 500. That's why allocated. So here they allocated all resources with this still everything here. Now they gave the cost and the resources. So now we have completed our resource allocation for a particular event. Now see it is how much so same wise we have to do not only for this event, for this each and every event we have to do that. So just think how much time take to complete this. That means we have to go one by one, we have to go and move to this place and right click and assign resources and come. So because of that, we are using a simple method in this Excel. Yes, I'm doing this. So now based on this, we'll move through the Excel. So these are the activities and these are the quantities. So I'm just copying this. So this already I have to, especially we are not copying this from this MS project to Excel. Already we have to prepare this in this Excel. So now now I move to this my Excel. So I'm not following this. I will put and newly likewise that quantities. So these are the activities we have included in the program. That means these are the activities and it is the unit and the quantities. And also for the first quantity, we have assigned these resources. For the first job, we have assigned the resources. We can just copy and paste that. We can just copy and paste. That's only in the MS project index. We can do whatever the under the resource names. We found these kind of activities. So what we have to do, we have to do the same thing for all balance activities. So in here they me allocate the tow steel, smile steel, skill labels, every activities. But what I told you initially. So before we go to this, we have to prepare this kind of detailed chart. That means cement, sand, metal, rubble. In this chart, we are having the all resources. That means if you are, this is better if you are doing that in that manner. Break down this Excel sheet. That means for a structural works material separate for structural. If you just filter and take the structural materials, they're only limited to 20 or 30 items. For the plumbing, another Excel sheet. For the electrical, another sheet. So that is easy. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to put the all items in a one sheet. So for these examples, here we have included these items. That means column reinforcement, formwork, these kind of activities. And now we have, for example, so for this column formwork, I need to identify what are the items, materials I need for this column formwork. So if you go this chart, the column formwork, so this is the quantity same like that, the column formwork. And here, so these are the activities, these are the materials need for the column formwork. That means 18 for plywood, timber, and 2x2 timber. So there's a method in this Excel. So the people who know this Excel know there is a formula in Excel we use concurrent. This is the formula. So this formula will make easy to assign those resources without go one by one, only based on one. We had to do only one time in this MS project, and just copy that to come to this our Excel sheet. And from the Excel sheet, we can easily just using this formula for the first place only, and we can just drag that item to the other items. We can automatically just copy and paste to the MS project to automatically will give that items. So for this sheet, I just showed you that. So we have to include what are the items. So that means in the MS project, we have included items called resource sheet, these are the resources that in the MS project we have included. So, but we have to consider that both type name should same, otherwise it will not easy to move that. So these are the resources what we typed in this Excel sheet. Plywood sheet and 2x4 timber, 4x2 timber, and 4x2 timber, and skill, and unskilled labors. So now we know these are the available resources, and if we have to do that detail activities, so we have to identify all activities, and likewise in this manner we have to complete our chart. So for the first, we know that for the column reinforcement in the Excel we have mentioned that these are the toe steel is 60, and toe steel 60, mild steel 10, skilled labors nearly 10, and unskilled labor 5. These are the assigned resources. So when I come to the formwork, so I'm thinking that the formwork plywood, I need 60 plywood. 2x4 timber, I need only 12. 4x2 5. Skilled labors 5, unskilled labor 5. So now I have allocate the resource. For the column concreting, I'm telling that for the cement bags, 1,000 cement bags. So these are not actual figures. And 50 meter cube and 75 meter cube, 100 meter cube, and labors also 5. And therefore this formwork again, this formwork need the plywood 20, 24, 6, 10. Labors also 10. The slab beam reinforcement walk tall steel. Levelings no need these items, and concreting again I'm checking this file. So this is the from the based on our updated program. So these are the quantities and from the BOQ we get, and also we have listed out what are the materials we need to do this. These things we have to do with the VSR support, or everything we have to prepare in the earliest, in the beginning stage of the program before allocating the resource. So likewise, this is only for the one flow I have allocated that. So likewise, you have to complete in the whole. So in this manner, we have to complete for this all items and all list of the resources for this each and every quantities. So this is the sample one. So now I have already, we know that there is a they have allocated. So in this manner, we have to do this. So for that, this concurrent formula will help you to do this. For example, I just copy this. Just I will share you this and just follow the what is the formula. Otherwise, if you just search in this internet also in this, you can get that. Okay. This is the formula. In here, first we have to just equal. When you type an equivalent, you use this. This formula will appear. Okay. In here, so second activities is column form work. So what we have to do, better if you are doing this all items, no, without allocating the particular items, we have to do this for all items. That is better. That means we have to, so in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these for these items only we had to do that. So that cement. First item is cement. So in this manner, we have to do this, but we don't need to do for like this. Only your activities is first you have to click this and type this consent date, and we have to link this. I think the cement from the cement 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 items have to repeat. So in some places some items are not allocated, so what we do, it is not an issue for us. For this, in this I have already completed 4, so I have to complete these all items for these all boxes. This one skill labels, for that skill labels linking with this O8. Then again this 6 for that cement should here nothing. Sand here nothing. Metal here nothing. So in this manner, just enter and complete this. Like I think you can easily do that. Just select that first column and the plywood and the linking column. And same as we have to do this for this all items at once. Then what we have to do, just track this, and it's tracking automatically. It will show. But in here, there's a issues when we tracking that first column is moving to the second column. So what we have to do that. The Excel, you know that we have to do this in the $sign. We have to save this for the initial for the K6. So then we have to do with the $sign. We have to save that. Please just try. Because I didn't ask you to do this in this during this lecture time, because it will waste of the time. So just so now it will not move. So now you can see that automatically we have assigned the resources in this same as the in this manner only, that in the MS project also the resources are allocating, then the resource names. So see this kind of resources allocated, and this kind of format derived from this MS project. So now we did in this Excel also in same manner. So when we just copy and paste in that place in this MS project, automatically the resources will allocate. So if you have 1,000 items like this, just we have track these whole items here automatically. Then only our first difficulty is allocating this first activities. On here I have allocate only these 4 activities. So same as I have to allocate this all this for the 10. Otherwise some of the other activities will not get the rate. So in this I need this G, then H, I, then I, so J, binary J. So now you can see this. I have allocate for this column form work activities all resources, that cement, sand, metal, every resources allocate for this column. So these items are not available for this column form work, so there is no any we will not get a amount for this, and we are only costing for this resource allocate for these 4 items only. So once I click this, here automatically comes. So only for the allocated resources only they have mentioned the figures. So in here 60 and here 12 and 5 others all are just 0. So but when same as when I track these two others, so in other also they allocate for the for an example, for if you take this last completing event, so there is only they allocating the resources for the these items, we are getting the figures. Now what I am going to do in this manner, so only the difficulties that we faced the first attempts, I just faced to use this concatenative formula and adding this all items with the dollar mark and to the particular box, and then we track automatically move to this relevant column and we got these resources. Now what I have to do that, just copy this and move my Excel MS project chart. Just paste those things under the resource names. Generally move these things better to do the So I think there's a problem with this formula. So this is the, I will check and let you know why some are not copying because of the values. That labors are not allocated because if you see that in the MS project, I told you that labor should allocate in this percentage. That means like this. But so in here we have to allocate the labors only in value. So that's the reason that labor resources did not allocated. And other things are, I think, because of this formula, the comma is missing. So here, so this is two mistakes in this Excel. One is this comma. So when we move to this place that we have to mention the comma from one between these two items. So that was missed in this concurrency formula. That's the reason that we didn't allocate this all kind of resources. So it is not a big issues, but while we are using this each and every activities, we have to include this comma icon and track, then we can get the same figures. So now you can see that just what we do in that Excel, just we have to come and copy pasting. So in here, in the first item only, we typed for the column reinforcement only. I just go and assign the resources. In the column form work, I didn't do anything in this MS project, but automatically but I did that in this Excel and just copy and paste. Same as we can copy and paste to that balance box all to this all activities are under this MS project. Then automatically they allocate the resources this kind and the cost will appear. That means I didn't allocate this plywood. So but here automatically the cost came for the plywood. Just copy and paste only that from there plywood and the cost for that. So in some of the items what you prepared in the Excel couldn't copy and paste for these items, that labor and other things didn't come because in the Excel we put the labor as 5, not in the percentage. So but we had to do whatever the things in the MS project manner, we have to do the calculation in this Excel. Otherwise the items will not come to this place. So I think now you'll realize what is the difficulty of this the first method. So it is not an easy method when we are doing in this classroom or in this in normal lectures. Basically we are learning in this method, just our lectures. So in this other institute, just we are learning this is the method, and in this manner we have to allocate the resources, and we are getting a small sample program within item 10 or 12. So in that item we can do easily, and we can submit and do. But when it comes to the practical or real scenario, it is not difficult. And second one, most of our companies, most of the construction companies are not considered about the material too much. So it's material, they are considered about the material and the profit. But because, for example, in the electrical, they are not doing this electrical jobs with their own resources. They are giving that to the some subcontractors. The plumbing, most of the subcontractors, also labor, also they are labor contractors. So most of the times they are not using this all kind of resources. Only what they need, available labors as well as the equipment. How we can allocate this equipment, that means the tower crane, and also if they are particular plant, sorry, truck mixture, and also concrete. So in those kind of things, the contractors need the allocating the resources for the each and every event. But otherwise, it is not required to allocating the resources in this manner. So going and allocating each and every steps. And also, once we have allocating the resources, we have to track that whether that using this task usage. So if you have go to the, so now we have completed. So when it's going to task use, we have to again check that how many toast is, for example. So in the planning, we have prepared 154 toast steels and mild steels 414. And what is the actual usage? So I will teach you in the later during this tracking. Just I am telling that what is the reason that we don't want to use that in this. This is only one event. For the one event, we can see these kind of items. So if you go for the resource usage, so we did only the one work, I think nearly 5 activities. So if you have a program in 1,000 and activities 2,000 or 4,000, how we can allocate these all resources and monitoring? It is very difficult. We can do that. Most in some companies are doing that, but it is very difficult and not recommended. Not recommended for especially. So we are the quantity surveyors. So we are not going to do with this the planning and resources, and we have to, most of the time we are going to do this monitoring and other activities. In that situation, definitely we need the second choice. That means the second method. So just you learn this first method, and better always try to go for the second method. So there is no any difference in the allocating and the assigning the resources and those things. There is no any different, but there are some little difference. Same as what I told you in this first method, just doing this prepare Excel chart based on the BOQ, same as I'm going. So here, this is that Excel sheet. So this is we did for the type 1. So this is the type 2. For the type 2, what I'm going to do that, these are the activities, same as in the program. And these are the as per the BOQ. So according to the BOQ, I'm the BOQ telling that for the under the structures, foundation for the basement, concrete works, quantity is 154 meter cube. The rate is 58,000, amount is 5,000. These are the figures of my BOQ. Sometimes the cost may, the rate and amount, these figures have already gained. So, and also likewise, I have all items as per the BOQ, and that quantities as also our manufacture rate and amount also we are having that. So now what we have to going to do that, we are going to allocate in this cost and this rate and amount in the MS project. So when we are doing that, we are going to directly assign this concrete. That means if you tell the concrete 154 meter cube concrete, under the 154 meter cube, that all materials are available. That is the ready mix concrete, the charges for the labors, everything's are including under this 154 meter cube. And also we know that if you if you go for the during the monitoring or tracking part, if you spend actual cost more than 58,000, that is our fault. So we can use a separate a material reconciliation chart or any chart, and we can follow that whether we complete this task, complete this concrete work within 154 meter cube, and our rate is within the 58,000. If that amount is exceed, so then there is a problem. So for that, we are for form work also. So we can give that job for the subcontractor. So and we have purchased sometimes the work subcontract. So with the material, when you are giving that, we have only focusing to the 117 meter square. So that means in the all form work we are considering as a one material. We are not considering about the count of plywood, what are the things and everything. So based on the items we calculate and we finalize the cost. That means whatever the purchasing, whatever the rate in this market, we are the cost can't more than 1,800, rate can't more than 18,100 for the formwork. So that is that is our profit margin. So likewise, we can finalize our rate rate with the rate unit rate calculation. We can break down and finalize part. We are what are things we are going to do that? We are not going to show that for the 58,000. There's a method from the each and every items we got the prices and prepare this 58,000. But we don't need to put that 58,000. We don't need to show that how it 58,000 came into the in the MS project. Okay, then after that, අතනින් MS project පළවෙනි method එකකින් කරනකොට each and every job එකටම අපි පෙන්නන්න ඕනේ මේ activities ඇතුළේ මේ resources කොහොමද ආවේ මොන resources තියෙන කියලා. concrete නම් concrete ඇතුළේ තියෙන හැම එකකට form work නම් plywood එකේ ඉඳලා and ඉඳලා හැම item එක දැම්මට පස්සේ තමයි මේ plywood වලට තියෙන cost එකක් එන්නේ. දැන් අපි මෙහෙ කරන්නේ already අපි unit rate calculation එක කරනවා. කරලා බලනවා මේ form work වලට යන්නේ 1 meter square form work වලට ඉන්න cost එක කීයද කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ දැන් ඒ එතනින් ගියපු items ටික breakdown ටික අපි අරගෙන දාන්න අපි MS projecting එකෙන් දාන්නේ form work එකේ තමයි එක item එයාව එක material විදිහට හිතලා එයාට යන quantities තමයි 1179ක් එකට යන rate එක 18000 කියලා කියනවා. අපි ඊට පස්සේ monitor කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි හැමදාම වගේ අපි 1179 meter square complete කරාද ඒත් 1179 යනකොට අපිට ඇත්තටම කියපු cost එක අපිට බලන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට වෙනම අපේ charts තියෙනවා, අපේ මොන rate analysis sheet තියෙනවා, breakdown invoices නම් check කරලා අපිට 18,100 එක අපි ඕ ගියාද කියලා අපිට cross check කරගන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම කියලා අපි මේ material ටික කවදාවත් MS project එකකින් පෙන්නන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ ටික කරන විදිය දැන් අපි MS project එකකින් කියලා බලමු. දැන් Gantt chart එකේ තියෙනවා මේ දැන් අපි හොඳයි තව අලුත් එකක් start කරමු නැත්නම් අර කොල්ට confuse වෙනවා. දැන් අලුත් එක යන්න නිසා මම පරණ මේ ටික delete කරනවා. මොකද resource sheet එකෙන් දැන් මේ මම කලින් resource sheet අරකට මේ resource sheet එක type කරේ. ඒ නිසා මේ resources ඔක්කොම delete කරනවා. මේ විදිහට මේ දැන් කරන්න යන්නේ. දැන් mainly resource එකකින් තමයි අපි depend වෙන්නේ. දැන් අතරින් මේ resource ටික allocate කරපු නිසා මේ මොකුත් යන්නේ නැහැ. මේක resource allocate කරන්න තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි මෙතන ගිහිල්ලා Gantt charting බලන්න ඕනේ. Gantt charting බලනකොට දැන් අපේ activities ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. දැන් මම කිව්වා වගේ මේ BOQ එකේ තියෙන විදිහට අපි දැන් මේ unit එකේ quantity ඔක්කොම finalize කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මේ reinforcement formwork concrete ඒ වගේ තව ඉතුරු items වලට තවලා breakdown ටික තවත් හදා ගන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මේ foundation basement floor එකට reinforcement formwork concrete ඒවා වගේ retaining walls column ground floor slab එක ඇතුළේ තව breakdown ටික තියෙනවනේ ඒ breakdown ටික add කරන්න ඕනේ. මේ හැම activities වලටම තව breakdown ටික තියෙනවනේ ඒ breakdown ටික කියන්නේ BOQ විදියටම breakdown එකක් හදා ගන්න ඕනේ. හදාගෙන ඒ quantities ටික මෙතන දාගෙන යනවා. දැන් මේ reinforcement කියලා කියනකොට දැන් අපි අතනින් තියෙන foundations වලට තියෙන quantities ටික ගමු. දැන් මේක අපි දැන් මේ අර MS project එකකින් මගේ BOQ එකකින් තියෙනවා කියලා හිතලා reinforcement formwork concrete තියෙනවා. මෙතනින්ගොත් එකට අදාළ quantities ටික තියෙනවා. දැන් මෙහෙන් resources ටික කිසිම allocate කරලත් නැහැ. ඒකට cost එකකුත් නැහැ. දැන් අපිට ඕන වෙන්නේ මේ items වලට resources ටික allocate කරලා අපිට cost එක identify කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් යනවා resource sheet එකට. දැන් මේක method දෙවෙනි method එක. දැන් resource names ඇතුළේ අර වගේ material මොනවද කියලා අපි update කරන්න සිමෙන්ට් සෑන්ඩ් කියලා අප්ඩේට් කරනවා. අපි මෙතනින් අප්ඩේට් කරන්නේ කෙලිමේ ජොබ් එකම තමයි අප්ඩේට් කරන්නේ. ඒකට අප්ඩේට් කරන එක අපිට මේ ටික කොපි කර කර අප්ඩේට් කරනට easy එකක්. මෙතන ගිහිල්ලා insert column එකෙන් WBS එකක් තියෙන work breakdown work breakdown මේක work breakdown structure දාලා work වෙන මෙතට එකක් ලියන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් work breakdown structure එකේ තියෙන activities තියෙනවානේ. මේ activities එක ඒමම copy කරලා work breakdown activities එක දුන්න ගමන් එතන තියෙනවා මේ activities එකම copy කරලා දානවා අතරින්. එන් මේ ටික ඔක්කොමට වෙන වෙන particulars numbers තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මේ ටික තමයි resource sheet එකට ගිහිල්ලා resource name ඇතුළේ paste කරනවා work ටික. මේ සමහර මේකට ඕනේ සමහර දේවල් තියෙනවා. අනිත් එක මේ ටික ඔක්කොම දැන් මාරු කරනවා material විදියට. දැන් work resource එකට තියෙන අපේ ඇතුළේ activities ඔක්කොම job එකම මම මාරු කරනවා material විදියට. දැන් material එක change කරා. දැන් BOQ එකෙන් ඇති මට rate එක. දැන් මම දැන් දන්නවා දැන් BOQ මම refer කරනකොට දැන් මේ items number 1 නම් මොන වැඩක් නෑ මට. දැන් උදාහරණ අපි දැන් කරන්න යන්නේ මේ item එක කියන්නේ 1.211 item එකක් ගත්තා නම් 1.211 එකට අපි දන්නවා quantities තියෙනවා ඊට පස්සේ මෙයාගේ rate එකත් අපි දන්නවා දැන් BOQ එකේ ගිහලා බලනකොට BOQ එකෙන් rate එකක් ඇති මේ item තුනටම BOQ rate එක දැන් BOQ rate එක copy කරලා ආවිල්ලා අපි resource sheet එකකින් දානවා අපි දැන් කරන්න යන මේ activities මේ තුනටම මේ activities තුනටම තමයි මම rate එක දාන්නේ මේ rate එක මම ගත්තේ කොහෙත් නෙමෙයි මගේ BOQ එක BOQ එකම දාලා තිනවා මේකේ තියෙන්නේ formwork වලට මාරවල අප්ඩේට් එක හරි. ඒ කියන්නේ concrete වලට දාලා තිනවා 58000 ඊට පස්සේ formwork වලට දාලා තිනවා 18000 reinforcement වලට දාලා තිනවා 547000 rate එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ එක පළවෙනි එක තමයි reinforcement ඊට පස්සේ දෙවෙනි එක formwork තුන්වෙනි එක concrete. හරි මේ විදිහට තමයි අපි මේ BOQ එකේ තියෙන. ඒ කියන්නේ පළවෙනි item එක reinforcement, දෙවෙනි එක the 1.21 මේ item තුන ගැන තමයි දැන් කතා කරන්න යන්නේ. 1.21 කියලා කියන reinforcement, දෙවෙනි එක තියෙන formwork, තුන්වෙනි එක concrete. මේ විදිහටම තමයි අපේ ගාන් chart එක කියන මේ item තුනට තුන reinforcement, formwork, concrete. ඒකට අපි මේ ටික තියෙනවා. අපි දැන් මේ ටිකට cost එක resources තමයි allocate කරන්න යන්නේ. දැන් reinforcement එකට ගිහිල්ලා අර විදිහට අපි කලින් normal විදිහට කරේ වගේ මෙතනින් ගිහිල්ලා assign resources යනවා. assign resources යනකොට මෙතනින් පෙන්නන්නේ දැන් resources ටික පෙන්නන්නේ code numbers ටිකයි. කියන්නේ WVS එකේ තියෙන numbers ටික තමයි පෙන්නන්නේ. reinforcement එක මම දන්නවා මගේ item number එක 1.2.11. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ item එක 1.2.11. එතනින් ගිහිල්ලා මගේ quantity මම දන්නවා 20.57 කියලා 20.57 already මම resource sheet එකට ගිහිල්ලා rate එක calculate කරපු නිසා එයා auto calculate කරලා මෙතන දැන් මම අපි කලින් මේකෙන් බලනකොට මෙතන cost එකක් තිබ්බ නැහැ. දැන් උදාහරණයකට අනිත් දෙයට form work වලට concrete වලට cost එකක් නැහැ. ඒ දැන් මේ allocate කරපුවම cost එක වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මේ පැත්තේ ගිහිල්ලා බලනකොට අපි අර කලින් items වලට බලනකොට මෙතනින් දිගටම line එකක් එනවා හැම items වලම මොනවද කියලා resources ටික ගියා. දැන් අපි මේ step එකට එච්චර වෙන item දෙකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ එයා මෙතන තියෙන්නේ අර WBS එකෙන් තියෙන WBS එකයි එයාගේ quantity එකයි. ඒ දෙක විතරයි මෙතනින් පෙන්නලා auto ඉතුරු ටික calculate කරලා cost එක දීලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මේකටත් අපි දැන් අර වගේම එක එක assign resources ගන්න ඕනේ. අපි දැන් කලින් කිව්ව first method එකට Excel එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ඒ විදිහටම මේකටත් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මෙතෙන් ගියා මේ Excel එකට ගියා. දැන් මම type 2 එකේ ඉන්නේ. දැන් පළවෙනි එකට තියලා තියෙන්නේ මෙමය. 1.2 එකට allocate කරලා තියෙන 20.572 කියලා. දැන් මම ගිහිල්ලා මගේ work breakdown structure එකේ තියෙන items තුනම copy කරනවා. copy කරලා මෙතන paste කරනවා. එන 1.11 1.2 1.3 ඒක තමයි මෙතන අතන තිබ්බේ අනිත් පැත්තනේ. ඒක නිසා පළවෙනි එක තිබ්බේ reinforcement, දෙවෙනි එක formwork, තුන්වෙනි එක concrete. ඊට පස්සේ quantity එක බලනකොට තේමයි මෙතන තිබ්බේ 20.572 ඊට පස්සේ මේක 154ක්. ඊට පස්සේ මෙතන ඉන්නේ 58 consider 74,000. මේ විදිහට තමයි MS project එකේ අපි program තියෙන reinforcement, formwork, concrete එකට අදාළ quantities, unit තියෙනවා, rate එකයි amount එක තියෙනවා Excel එකේ. දැන් අපි MS project එකේ එක program එකට මේ resource allocate කරා. resource allocate කරපු විදිය තමයි ඒකත් copy කරලා එල්ල බලන්න පුළුවන්. copy කරලා මම Excel එකෙන් paste කරනවා. මේ විදිහට තමයි මගේ MS project එකේ මේ item එකට පළවෙනි reinforcement එතනින් පේනවා පළවෙනි එක පෙන්නන්නේ 1.211 ඒ කියන්නේ WBS. දෙවෙනි number එක තියෙන්නේ 20.572. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒකට අදාළ quantity එක. දැන් අපි ඒ විදිහටම අපිට track කරලා දාන්න පුළුවන් ඊටු balance item දෙක formwork concrete තියෙන ඒ වගේ පල්ලෙයක් තියෙනවා. මේ හැම එකම මම මේ විදිහටම track කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක කරන්නේ නැතුව මම පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ අර formula එක. consider formula පාවිච්චි කරා. පළවෙනි එක දෙනවා මේ A13 කියලා. A13 මෙහා කමා ඉන්වර්ටර් කමා ඇතුළේ දාලා bracket එක දාලා ආපහු F13 කියලා කියන්නේ දෙවෙනි මේ column එක. ඊට පස්සේ මේ ටික ඔක්කොම දාලා enter කරපුවම මේ යනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මම මෙයා track කරගුවම auto 154ට මේ ආවා. දැන් මේ ටික මම copy කරලා paste value එකක් දෙන්න. මේ ටික copy කරලා දැන් මම යනවා මගේ Excel MS project එකට. MS project එකට ගිහිල්ලා එතන form work වලින් paste කරනවා. දැන් බලන්න දැන් කලින් මේ දෙකටම cost allocate කරලා තිබ්බ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ then auto cost ටික ආවා. ඒ නෙදින කියලා තියෙන්නේ 1.7 එයා auto මේක මාරලා then cost එකක් ආවා. ඒ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම මේ works වලට cost එක. දැන් මේ විදිහටම දැන් අපි දැන් මෙතනින් කියලා මම එක එකට කියලා assign resources කරනවා නම් මට උච්චර වෙලාව අපරාධ වෙනවා. ඒක තමයි මේ method එක easy අපිට ගොඩක් අපි පාවිච්චි කරන මේ concurrent formula පාවිච්චි කරලා දැන් මම මෙතනින් කරා වගේ ඔයාලට පුළුවන් තව balance items ඔක්කොම දැන් මේකම track කරන්න. දැන් සමහරවිට මම work breakdown structure මෙතන copy කරපු නැති නිසා මේ figures ටික work breakdown පෙන්නන්න නැති වෙයි. මේ ටික ඔක්කොම මේනවා. දැන් මෙතන ඉන්නේ නැත්තේ මේ work breakdown structure items ටික මම දාපු නැති නිසා ආවනේ. දැන් මේ ටික ඔක්කොම වල copy කරලා මගේ අපේ MS project එකේ balance job ඔක්කොම දාපු ගමන් එහෙත් හැම each and every job වලට එයාලා auto resources ටික allocate කරලා මේ cost එක identify කරලා දෙනවා අපිට. එන සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් සම්පූර්ණ වෙච්ච දැන් මේ activities වලට හැම activities වල මේ විදිහටම අපි එකපාරටම copy කරලා paste කරපුවම අපි එක එක event වලට ගිහිල්ලා resource allocate කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. copy කරලා paste කරපුවම හැම එකටම cost එක කියලා overall cost එකක් මෙතනින් එනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට දැන් cost එක monitor කරනවා. එහෙනම් මේ job එකට අදාළ cost එකක් rate එක මෙච්චරයි. cost එක මෙතන දෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා දාගන්න පුළුවන් අපිට. මේ step එක base කරලා තමයි අපි ඊතුරු monitoring process හෝ නැත්නම් tracking process ඔක්කොම යන්නේ මෙතනින් ඉඳලා. දැනට අපි කරලා තියෙන ආපුවාලා MS project එක චුට්ටක් කියන්නේ recover කරලා බලුවා නම් අපි initially start කරා plan program එකේ start කරනකොට calendar එක හරියට හදාගත්තා. calendar එක extend කරලා අපි main sequence ටික add කරා. main sequence ටික add කරනකොට අනිවාර්යෙන් හිතන්න ඕනේ main sequence අපේ BOQ එක design එක especially BOQ base කරලා තමයි program එක. BOQ හදන්න කලින් BOQ බලන්න නැති program හදුවා නම් වැරද්දක් වෙනවා. ඒක නිසා BOQ තියෙන work sequence විදියට ඒ කියන්නේ BOQ අපි හදනවා කියලා කියන්නේ හරි standard method of measurement follow කරලා හරියට TO list එක base කරලා තමයි හදලා ඇති BOQ. ඒක නිසා එකකින් activities miss වෙන්නේ නැහැ. BOQ කියලා කියන්නේ items ටික ගත්තා jobs ටිකක් miss වෙන්නේ. ඒ base කරලාම අපේ measured works වල program එකත් include කරනවා. ඒ programs වලට හරියට durations ටිකත් දාන්න ඕනේ. duration ටික දාන්න එක. ඒක duration ටික අපිට පස්සේ මේ duration දැනට normal duration එක දාගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකට හරියට calculate කරලා දාගන්නවා. duration දාන්න විදිය මම පස්සේ කියන ඒ දිනියක් දාගත්තකම auto program එකේ issue එකක් එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් අද දවස් 45 කියපු ගම මම හෙට ඇවිල්ලා එතන 50 කියලා දාපුවම auto link කරලා තිබ්බනම් අර flow calendar හරියට set කරලා predecessor success ඒ කියන්නේ පළවෙනි event එකට දෙවෙනි event එකට තියෙන relationship හරියට set කරලා තිබ්බනම් මම auto event එකක් date එකක් කරමුක වෙනස් වෙච්ච ගමන් auto link එනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ පළවෙනි calendar set කරන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ program ටික හරියට අපි list out කරන්න ඕනේ. list out කරපු ගමන් ඒ items වලට තියෙන link ටික හදා ගන්න ඕනේ. predecessor successes දා ගන්න ඕනේ හරියට මොන event start කරලා පස්සේ දෙවෙනි event start කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒ දෙක මැද තියෙන relationship එක මොනවද? ඒ වගේ එක event එක start කරලා අපි job එක ඉක්මන් කරන්න ඕන නම් එක event එක start කරලා ඒත් එක්කම parallel තව event එක start කරන්න ඕනද කියලා. ඒ වගේ දේවල් අපි ඒක දිගටම කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ එහෙම link ටික හැදුවාට පස්සේ කියන්නේ අපි program එකක් add කරන program ටික හදලා තුන්වෙනි ස්ටේජ් එකට තමයි ඒකට අදාළ resources ටික අපි අල්ලන්න. මම මේ කියන්නේ main අර D2 MS project තියෙන ඔක්කොම නෙමෙයි as a professional අපිට ඕන වෙන දේවල් ටික. ඊට පස්සේ තුන්වෙනි එක resources ටික allocate කරන්න එක. දැන් resources ටික allocate කරන එක තමයි අද අපි දවස් මෙච්චරලා බැලුවේ. කොහොමද resources ටික allocate කරන්නේ? resources ටික allocate කරන method ටික මම කිව්වා. main methods හතරක් කියලා තිබ්බත් අපිට main තියෙන methods පළවෙනි එකම each and every activities. දැන් block work නම් block work ඇතුළේ තියෙන cement එක, sand එක, metal ටික every activities එකට යන labor, skill labor, unskilled labor resources ටික වෙනම අපි දැක්වුවා trade calculation කරනවානේ price analysis කරනකොට කොහොමද මොන resources ඉන්නේ මොච්චර ප්‍රමාණය යන්නේ කියලා ඒ ටික ඔක්කොම මේ MS project එකේ දාලා ඒකට අදාළ rate එකත් එතනින් include කරලා resource sheet ඇතුළේ rate එකක් දාලා ඊට පස්සේ ඒ resources ටික allocate කරලා assign කරනකොට එක එකෙන් assign කරන්නේ නැතුව ඒ Excel sheet එකටම ගිහිල්ලා අර concurrent formula පාවිච්චි කරලා එකපාරටම අදගෙන resources ටික allocate කරන්න පුළුවන් method එකකින්. ඒ method එකට මම ඒක length ඉත් වැඩි practical උත් නෑ ගොඩාක් අමාරු කියලා තමයි මම පස්සේ කිව්වේ දෙවෙනි method එක. දෙවෙනි method එකෙන් කරනකොට අර වගේ each and material යන්න ඕනේ නෑ. අපි already BOQ තියෙනවා ඒකට අදාළ quantities තියෙනවා. ඒ quantities තියෙන එකට අදාළ rate එකක් amount එක අපි කව තියෙනවා BOQ එකකින්. ඒ rate එක අපි ගත්තේ අපි unit analysis කරලා අපි වෙනම calculation කරලා rate එකක් තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි ආපහු ඒක ඇතුළේ තියෙන items ගැන හිතන්න. අපි ඒක ඇතුළේ තියෙන quantity විතරයි හිතන්නේ. දැන් අපි මොනවද කරන්නේ? අපි each and every activities එක දැන් reinforcement, formwork, concrete ඊට පස්සේ block work, finished plastering කියලා කිව්වොත් ඒ each and every activities ඔක්කොම අපි හිතනවා මේ පාර resources විදියට. ඒකෙන් තමයි resources sheet ඇතුළට ගිහිල්ලා ඒ activity එකම resources විදියට එතන අපි paste කරේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ activity එක මම copy කරලා paste නැතුව මේ ඒක නැත්නම් length අකුරු අනම්මන එහෙම ඉස්සෙන කරදරයක් වෙන නිසා අපි උනා ඒකත් paste කරන්න පුළුවන්. paste කරනකොට case එකේ resource names ටික දාන්නකොට resource name වෙන්නේ අර activity පෙන්නලා bracket ඇතුළේ අර quantity එක. උදාහරණයකට මෙතනින් එන්නේ the work breakdown 1.22 ඇතුළේ 1.22.11 කියලා WBS එන්නේ නැතුව කෙලින්ම reinforcement මේම කියලා තේනවා. ඒ නිසා අපේ කැමතින් එකක් දාගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේ task name එක හෝ නැත්නම් මේ WBS කියලා මෙයාට එකක් start කරලා මේක කියලා resource sheet එක මම copy කරලා paste කරා. මේ විදිහට ඒ items ටික ආවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ items වලට තමයි අපි ගිහිල්ලා දාගන්නේ resources allocate කරන්නේ. ඒ case එකේ නෝ reinforcement වලට මම දන්නවා quantity එක 20.57 මේක මම measurement කරලා ගත්ත quantity එක. ඒක allocate කරපු ගමන් auto අපිට එනවා cost එක million 11ක් කියලා. දැන් මේ method එකත් මම එක එක activity වලට ගිහිල්ලා assign resources BOQ බලාගෙන quantity add කරන්න ඕනේ. මට BOQ soft copy එක තියෙනවා. BOQ එක මගේ Excel sheet එක හදලා තියෙනවා. ඒ Excel sheet එකකින් මේ assign resources එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක නිසා මම කලින් කිව්වා වගේ concurrent formula පාවිච්චි කරලා එක work breakdown structure task name එක කියලා එකට විතර අර concurrent formula track කරපු ගමන් මගේ සම්පූර්ණ program එකටම අදාළ cost එක ඒ copy කරලා paste කරපු ගමන් මට මේ total cost එක මෙතනින් එනවා. ආවට පස්සේ දැන් මගේ සම්පූර්ණම planning part එක 80 to 90% ඉවරයි. ඒ කියන්නේ program හදලා breakdown කරලා link කරලා මේ දිලද දැන් මට තියෙන්නේ monitoring part එකයි tracking part එක. tracking part එක කියලා කියන්නේ Gantt chart එකකින් tracking Gantt කරපුවම මෙතන පෙන්නනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි මෙච්චර වැඩ කරලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා. අපි යන්න විදියයි මේ ටික අපි මොනිටර් කරන්න පුළුවන්. අපි actual එක මේ track කරලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. අපි මේක දැන් මම කිසිම වැඩ අපි start කරපු නැති නිසා ඔක්කොම පෙන්නනවා 000% එක පෙන්නනවා. මේ ටික තමයි කිව්ව අපි baseline එක set කරලා මේ ටික කරගන්න පුළුවන්. මේ දැන් මම හිතන්නේ ඒක ඔයාලට load වෙනවා. ඒ වුණාට අපිට time නැති නිසා තව මේ මොනවද durations නැති නිසා මම මොනවද කරන්නේ දැන් ආපහු තව class එකට යන්න කලින් මම පුළුවන් next stage එක වීඩියෝ එකක් රෙකෝඩ් කළාම දාන්න. නැත්නම් අපිට වෙලාවක් නැති වෙනවා section මේ තව ඉරිදා වෙනකම් බලාගෙන තව ඒක නදත් මම බැලුවේ මේක resource allocate කරලා ඊට පස්සේ monitoring part එකත් කරන්න. ඒක නිසා මම තව දවස් දෙක තුනක් ඇතුළේ මේ recording එකක් දාගන්නම් කොයිද monitoring වලට. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ recording එකත් ඔයාලා refer කරන්න. අද කියපු විදිහට මේ ඔයාලගේ program එකක් මම ඔයාලට දුන්න task sheet program එක තව program එක develop කරලා ඒකෙන් තියෙන duration ගැන හිතන්නත් එපා quantity ගැන හිතන්නත් එපා. quantity ඔයාලා කැමති quantity එක දාගන්න. ඒ වගේ ඒ අදාළ quantities වලට යන්න material ටිකත් focus කරලා both method එකම එකපාරට කරලා බලන්න resources ටික කොහොමද allocate කරන්න කියලා. ඒ වගේ resources allocate කරනත් එක්කම අර මම කිව්ව Excel chart එකකින් දීලා concurrent formula දාලා කොහොමද link කරන්නේ කියලා එක check කරලා බලන්න. ඒකම ලොකු වැදගත් මේ program එකෙන් cost එක අලගනවා. අපි final output එක තියෙන්නේ අපේ තියෙන resources cost එක allocate කරලා අපිට cost එක කීයද කියලා මල ඒක තමයි ඒ cost එකෙන් තමයි අපි ඊටු ටික tracking ඔක්කොම කරන්නේ ඒ cost එකෙන්. එයාගෙන් තමයි baseline cost විදිහට ගන්නවා. ඒ cost එකෙන් අපි පල්ලයට වැඩ කරගත්තා නම් ඒක අපේ profit එක. ඒ cost එකෙන් උඩට යනවා කියලා කියන්නේ අපේ profit එකෙන් අඩු වෙනවා. so ඒක නිසා ඒ cost එක ගොඩක් වැදගත්. ඒක නිසා තමයි අපි ඒ cost හොයනකොට හරියට detail in material breakdown අරගෙන manually කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒක ඇවිල්ලා පෙන්වන්න ඕන අපි මෙතන ඒ ටික ඔක්කොම අපේ detail BOQ එකේ පෙන්වුවාට පස්සේ අර වගේ අර method first එකකින් වගේ difficulty එනවා. ඒ වුණත් ඔයාලා මේ method 1 එකටත් එකක් කරලා බලන්න. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි ඔයාලට idea එක එන්නේ method 1 එකෙන් කරන එක තියෙන difficulties මොනවද තියෙන්නේ කියලා. ඒ වගේ 2 එකත් මම කිව්ව විදිහටම ඔයාලා BOQ කරගන්න. මේක easy then මේව ඔයාලට කරාට පස්සේ මට දැන් වෙන Primavera ඇතුළේ ගිහිල්ලා අපි ඕන method 1 එකෙන් cost එක allocate කරන්න නැතුව කෙලින්ම method 2 එකම Primavera එකෙන් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් Primavera කරත් තවත් අමාරු. දැන් මෙහි හරිය අර concrete formula දාගෙන අපිට link කරන්න පුළුවන්. Primavera ගියත් ඒ වගේ option උත් නැහැ. කෙලින්ම කරගෙන යන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක ලොකු load එකක් යනවා. මේ පොඩි ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මට ඕන නම් ඔයාලට නිකන් සීක්වෙන්ස් 4-5 තියෙන ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් කරලා පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වුණාට මට ඕන වෙන්නේ ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි ඔයාලට තියෙන ඉෂුස් ටික කියන්න. නැත්නම් ඉගෙන ගන්නවා MS ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් කියලා දන්නවා Primavera දන්නවා ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි කියලා එක හැන්ඩල් කරනකොට ඉන්න ප්‍රොබ්ලම්ස් ටික එන්නේ ලොකු ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් හදන්න යනකොට. දැන් ඒක මම පර්සනල් එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් වුණත් ඉගෙන ගන්නකොට ඔක්කොම තේරෙනවා softwares තේරෙනවා මේ activities තේරෙනවා. ඒත් අපි ඇවිල්ලා practically use කරනකොට තමයි අපිට problems ටික තේරුනේ මේ වගේ දේවල් මොනවද කරන්න මේ කොහොමද handle කරන්න කියලා. ඒ ටික ඔයාලට ඒ issues ටික වලට දැන්ම ආවනම් ඔයාලට ඒකට solutions ටික දැන් ඉඳලා හොයාගන්න ලෑස්ති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් දැන් already 2 hours ඉවර වෙච්ච නිසා මම අද මේ දෙකම නවත්තන්නම්. video recordings ටික මම share කරන්නම් අනිත් ළමයි ටික තියන්න video ටික දාන්න. ඒ වගේ මම දවස් දෙකක් හෝ තුනකින් පස්සේ තව වීඩියෝ එකක් ඔන්ලයින් හදලා දාන්නම් මොනවටද මොනිටරින් වලට. කියන්නේ මේකේ next step එකට. ඊට පස්සේ ඉරිදා අපි ඊළඟ ක්ලාස් එකට යමු try කරලා බලමු Primavera යන්න හැර නැත්නම් අපිට කාලයක් නැති වෙනවා. නැත්නම් මේ novel MS project එකේ revision විදියක් කරගෙන ඊට පස්සේ section වලට Primavera move කරමු. මේ ඒ නිසා දැන් ගොඩක් වැදගත් වෙන්නේ මේ දැනට මම කරපු එකෙන් භාගයට වැඩි MS project mainly use කරන දේවල් ටික planning stage ගොඩක් කවරලා තියෙනවා. දැන් මට miss වෙලා තියෙන්නේ monitoring stage එකයි ඊට පස්සේ report create කරන එක resource level කරන issues ටික resource leveling issues ටිකයි resource වලින් තියෙන allocation resource over allocation reportings. ඒ වගේ දේවල් ටික මම ආපහු තව videos එකක් හෝ දෙකක් ඇතුළේ කතා කරලා ඉවර කරගන්නම්. so ඒ නිසා ආපහු මේක ගොඩක් වැදගත් වීඩියෝ බලලා මේ නැත්නම් අර ස්ලයිඩ් ෂෝ එක බලලා ඉන්න එක නෙමෙයි. please just try to do that. I think so sometimes some people are working and some are studying and other engagements. While doing that, at least just allocate other 1 or 2 hours. That's enough to do this and allocate that and complete this task. So that will be easy for you also to me, because until this moment I can't understand whether you got this point and whether you're understanding or not. It is very difficult without this is not like this other softwares just doing something and ask the students to just do. It is not possible for this kind of other, that will take more time. So because that much of things we had to do that. So that's why I'm not stopping some activities and ask you to do. I think most of the, because another option is most of the people are referring the videos. So I feel that it is better that I just complete the task and doing this and let you to do after the session with the videos and the video and my slides. And later you can raise the problem. So previously I got some problems from the students and I gave some answers and asked them to do that. Same as please complete these sessions based on my lectures. And thank you and a good night. And I'll share the videos today night or tomorrow morning. Please do that.